Okay, our topic, we're changing the topic this week, and we'd like to bring in spiritual friendships. And I'll start off, Nellie, real quick,
Sure.
because this is a very well-known piece of the Buddhist scriptures, literature, discourses that he talked about friendship, spiritual friendship, Kalyanamitta, as the whole of the path, the whole of our practice. And he was dear friends with his cousin, Ananda, who then was also his attendant, was also his student. So he gets at the kind of complexity of spiritual friendship and a friendship that we hold different roles with each other. And we're going to be managing those while we continue to grow in friendship.
And I think that reflective meditation is very foundational. Friendship is foundational. The longer we go on, the more I see this, that there's so many people who are in our various sanghas and our various groups who have become close friends with one another. And then there's also the people who, like perhaps yourself, who come to the daily online regularly or sometimes and feel a friendly feeling um, towards people who are here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's interesting that I think this, let's say, desire for friendship, for spiritual friendship, I think many of us are seeking it, have sought it in our lives. And I talked with a few people this week, and each of them had said it was something that they were seeking and that they found. So I just really want to say that it's findable. It's really it's very real, like Nellie, like just like you were saying, right here within our sangha.
And I have to say that I joined that group that you were talking to this
Yeah,
week.
you were one.
I'm one of them because I mean I was very conscious of this, that I had a good spiritual friend, and then I moved from the Bay Area up to Portland, and our friendship kind of got very it it was very infrequent, and I was longing for that, and hooked up with Linda
Yeah, yeah, and
intentionally.
right, and it's continued to grow. And that's the interesting thing that Buddhist practice actually, with its focus on that, and the teachings, I think, being focused on that, it really does grow and develop over many years. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to move into some of the an article that talks about the 6 things that help friendships develop. But before that, we was an article in the Atlantic. But before we do that, what we're doing in reflective meditation, this kind of open inquiry with, these conversations, and there's a kind of mutuality about it. It's not we're telling you how to meditate. You're telling us how you meditate. We're talking about it. Perhaps we're picking up a few more things you might have overlooked. I feel like that is spiritual friendship. That
Right,
is enactment of it.
right. Right. I mean, it does have a different flavor, this kind of knowing somebody deeply through them sharing their experience, their inner world in a way, and then reflecting on it together. It's different than other kinds of friendships. And I think, again, that leans in the spiritual sense. But the practice, it's very much built in. You keep saying that, I'm going to keep saying it. It's like if you do this practice, it is an outcome of doing the practice together.
And so, as we're going to continue today and in the days to come to talk about spiritual friendship, we also this article also broadens the idea of friendship. Okay, it's our spiritual friends, but it's the friendships we have in the various other groups we're a part of, and the communities we're a part of, and perhaps we're still working in the work that we do. The friendships are um, our friendships with our spouses or significant
Mhm,
others as
mhm.
well.
Right, right. So Julie Beck is the writer of this article that we found in the Atlantic, and she's done studies of friendships over many, many years, more than well, I don't know, more than 3 years interviewing people for what she calls the friendship files. And she brings together, it's very similar to Buddhist teachings. She gives us a list. And even some of our, our qualities are on this list. So it's always interesting to get like the summary, the synopsis of something, and then start to go into it in more depth. So that's what we'll be doing for the next few sessions that Nellie and I teach.
And she has a quote, which is very sweet, which is that people are their most generous, their funniest, and their most fascinating when they are talking with and about their friends.
I can relate to that. I mean, I hear my husband's voice change when he talks with some of his friends, and suddenly I'm like, God, he sounds so happy over there. What is he talking about? But you can hear a voice change, you can hear an engagement, you can see things, sensitivity, a joining. Like these are visible things that happen when talking with friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the first, what she calls a force. I kind of like that word.
Huh.
We often would call it a quality. She calls it, that is Julie Beck is the she, calls it a force that form friendships and maintain them through over time. And the first one is so relevant to what we're doing. And she calls it accumulation. Or in other words, time spent together.
Right. So I'll read a little quote from her. The simplest and most obvious force that forms and sustains friendships is time spent together. One study estimates that it takes spending 40 to 60 hours together within the first 6 weeks of meeting to turn an acquaintance into a casual friend, and about 80 to 100 hours to become more than that.
So I think our rhythm might be different than that. We're not going to usually be spending 40 to 60 hours together in the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, amazing.
It's going to take probably quite a bit longer, but maybe that doesn't matter so much because we have a certain intention here that perhaps fuels this friendship, spiritual friendship.
Yeah, and Nellie, actually, when the daily online started, this 1 hour a day became a real source of accumulation for many people. And the group formed differently because of that amount of meeting time and that, I'd say, availability to practice and to friendship.
Right. Yeah, when I say when I look at 40 to 60 hours, okay, well, that would be about a year of the daily online. But of course, some people see each other in other places and other
Right.
groups at online retreats. So the hours build up and the friendship, I feel like the friendship in the daily online is palpable.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right, right. And we don't have a mailing list per se where you can get people's emails, but we've tried a few times to accumulate that. So we have a daily online at gmail.com address that if people want emails or to be in touch, we encourage people to have dyads and meet with each other outside of the daily online to enhance their practice and learn more about reflective meditation.
Yeah, and build that spiritual friendship that is so, it's really sustaining.
It is.
Yeah. Well, looking at the time, maybe we're just going to get to the first of the six forces today.
I think we are.
So
Yeah.
that gives us time going forward. Um, we have lots of time.
Yeah. That's a nice thing about friendship is that we can take our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it might be me as the bell ringer today.